everyone. We're here to read chapter 23, but we're going to start off with a joke first. Diesel, I've got a joke for you, and it's a dog joke. What is a puppy's favorite pizza? Pepperoni. Isn't that a good one? All right, we're ready for chapter 23. Here we go. Saturday, March 24th to Sunday, March 25th. Money saved, $251.82. From looking at the place, you wouldn't have known Lexi and I had spent the entire weekend cleaning Dad's apartment just 2 weeks ago. A pizza box sat on the kitchen table, 3 bags of garbage needed to be taken to the dumpster, and some dishes in the sink needed to be washed. Really, Dad? I said. You couldn't tidy up a little? And why does it always smell like peas in here? Dad sat on the couch, putting his feet up and lying back. I've been busy, but now that you guys are here, I thought you'd like to help straighten up. And I like peas. No time to help, Dad, said Lexi. I need to make signs. She had brought both a regular suitcase and a giant portfolio case filled with art supplies. She hurried into her bedroom to work. I hoped you could do some dusting, began Dad, but Lexi was gone. He looked straight at me. Sorry, I've got a dog walking appointment in 20 minutes, I explained, dragging my suitcase to my room. You guys can't help a little? Squeaked Dad in a small, desperate voice. Sorry, I said. Sorry, hollered Lexi from her room. I could still change my mind, yelled Dad. Maybe I don't think a pet is a good idea. Too late, Pops, I replied. That ship has sailed. Dad stood in the hallway outside our rooms. I didn't like to unpack when I visited because that just meant I had to pack again in a day or two, so I threw my suitcase in the corner. I've made some fun plans for us, said Dad. I thought we could see a movie. Sorry, I'm too busy, I said. Lexi yelled, Me too. Lexi, we could go shopping, shouted Dad. Sorry, yelled Lexi. Otto, we could play soccer, he pleaded. Sorry, I said. We could play sorry, said Dad, referring to his favorite board game. Sorry, I said, and then quickly muttered, no thanks. Dad stood in my doorway with a frown on his face. He usually acted like he had to do some sort of father-kid bonding when we visited, since we only saw him every other week. But this was the home stretch. I didn't have time for parents. I had responsibilities now. I couldn't play games. But I had to admit that playing soccer and sorry sounded fun. How's saving money going? Dad asked as I hurried past him. Good? You know I always wanted a dog myself. I know, Dad, I said, heading to the front door. He followed me. I thought we could go out to eat tonight, he said. I doubt I'll have time. Maybe we could just order in a pizza. I looked at his kitchen table and the pizza box sitting on top of it. If you're not sick of pizza, that is. You know, I really need help cleaning out the storage closet downstairs, said Dad. Really? I started to answer, but Lexi appeared in the hallway before I responded. I'll do it. How much does it pay? Doesn't pay anything. I just need your help, explained Dad. Oh, then no thanks, said Lexi, disappearing back into her room. Don't look at me, I said, holding my arms up after Dad turned to me and threw me an eager smile. I'm booked. I walked out of the apartment. I shouldn't have to pay my own kids for quality father-child bonding time, Dad cried after me, but I was already hurrying down the hall. Although I did have one of his trash bags in my hand, I figured I could toss it in the dumpster on my way out. It was the least I could do. When I arrived back at the apartment around dinner time, Lexi was in her room and Dad was eating pizza by himself on the couch. I grabbed a slice and leaned back on the recliner next to him. How was dog walking? Asked Dad. I'm impressed. Both you and Lexi are working really hard. If I don't work hard, we'll get a cat. I raised my voice so Lexi could hear me. And we are not getting a cat. We are not getting a dog, she yelled back. Dad's apartment has thin walls. Growing up, your Aunt Rosalind wanted a cat, said Dad, but I wanted a dog, just like you. What happened? I asked between pizza bites. I needed to eat fast so I could make my final appointment, which was across town. Staying with Dad meant longer bike rides to get to my dog walking gigs. Half my time was spent traveling. I wished Dad lived closer to Mom's house. We couldn't agree, so we got neither. I ended up getting a turtle, but I didn't know how to feed it and dumped the entire box of turtle food on its head, and it suffocated. I was only about 5 years old. It's much better having a dog, I agreed. You probably couldn't buy enough dog food to dump on its head and kill it. Probably not. Any pizza left? Asked Lexi, entering the room. She snagged a slice and plunked down on the couch. I couldn't help noticing all the paint and glitter on her hands. There was some in her hair and on her nose, too. Done for the night? Asked Dad. We could still catch a movie. Just taking a 5-minute break, explained Lexi. I need to get going, too. I took a final slice for the road. Maybe next time, whimpered Dad, frowning. As long as Fluffernutter can come along, said Lexi with a giggle. We are so not getting a cat, I yelled as I stepped into the hallway. We are so not getting a dog, Lexi screamed back at me. You'll see, I yelled, slamming the door. This is war, you know. But with the door closed, I'm not sure if she even heard that last part. The next day, Dad didn't seem too disappointed we were leaving, although he had his game of sorry sitting on the counter when we woke up. He put my glass of morning orange juice next to it and said things like, I'm sorry you can't stay, and sorry you have to work so hard. I pretended I didn't understand what he was getting at. When we got back to Mom's house, Lexi needed to run out and buy more art supplies. She goes through them faster than I go through candy the day after Halloween. We passed each other on the staircase. Dad seemed pretty bummed we're so busy, Lexi said. I nodded. Only a few days left, though. I can't believe you turned down the chance to go shopping. She smiled. There's a first time for everything. Are you getting close to $500? Very close, I assured her. Any minute now. Really? Lexi laughed. Any minute? You mean in 2 minutes you're going to have $500? Fine. Not any minute, I admitted, but soon. Sooner than you, I added, squinting my eyes. I hated when Lexi acted nice to me. You shouldn't be nice to the enemy during war. It's just confusing. Lexi smiled and waved as she ran downstairs, but I glared at her the whole way. I had to be tough, unforgiving, vicious. That's what war is all about. I thought of horrible things I could do to her. Cut off her hair, paint her face green, duct tape her to the ceiling, steal her bed. None of those ideas were good enough, though. After all, I owed Lexi a lifetime of payback for being annoyingly perfect all the time. Winning this challenge and owning a dog would be the perfect revenge. In her hurry to get supplies, Lexi left her bedroom door open. As I entered the second-floor hallway, I saw it, just a crack, a streak of light shining from a window and onto the carpet by my feet. I hesitated in front of it. She was gone. Mom was downstairs. Somewhere in her room was a pile of money. How close was she? I kept imagining her riches, piles of gold coins raining down like from a waterfall. I needed to know, just a peek. Did I have a chance of winning this war? So I crept noiselessly into her room. I knew she would kill me if she ever found out. Mom would probably let her, so I had to be careful. I wasn't going to do anything bad, just count her money, that's all, see how close she was. And if she wasn't close, I could breathe a little easier and worry about my own money earning. Her room was a world of sparkly glitter. There were a half-dozen signs in various states of creation. Partly done, half done, mostly done, all done. One of the boards said, "Get your food at Schnood's," but I couldn't bear to read the others. I seethed. First, Mr. Schnood fired me, and then he hired the competition. I'd put him on the top of my revenge list after Lexi. Maybe I'd go to his store and topple over another pyramid of cans. That would show him. I was pretty sure I knew where Lexi hid her money, in a jewelry box in the bottom drawer of her nightstand. She had showed me her cash supply when I was 6 years old. You should be careful what you show people. It can come back and haunt you later. I pulled open the nightstand drawer. The jewelry box was sitting inside with its painted pink princesses and unicorn stickers. I lifted the box, put it on her bed, and opened it. Money. A big stack of it. And not just $1 bills, but 5s and 10s and even a couple of 20s. I dumped it on the bed and had just started to count when I heard the front door close downstairs. Lexi. She was back. I recognized her footsteps immediately. She must have forgotten something, but she would never forget me sneaking in her room. I threw the money back into the jewelry box, slammed it closed, and stuffed it back in her drawer. My heart pounded. As I turned to sprint out of the room, I saw a $20 bill on the bed. I didn't have time to put it back in the box, and I couldn't just leave it there as evidence, so I seized it. I stepped into the hall and stuffed the bill in my front pocket, just as Lexi walked up the final staircase step. "Were you in my room?" she asked, narrowing her eyes. "If I had been in your room, I'd be covered in grossness, so no." "You're already covered in grossness. That's from talking to you." She rolled her eyes. I went downstairs. From my pocket, the $20 bill stuck out. I stared at it. I could use the money. I needed every dollar I could get my hands on. This wasn't stealing either, not really. Lexi owed me for making my life miserable. She should pay me hundreds of dollars and not just a small 20. A lifetime of misery was worth lots more than this. So why did I feel so guilty putting it in my shoebox later that night? That is the end of chapter 23. So I'm excited to read chapter 24. Hopefully, I'm going to see my friend return that money to his sister, like he should. Bye, guys.